we have a massive New York Yankees pitching update as Corbin Burnes has met with the New York Yankees and talks of the signing are progressing. We're going to be talking about what happened here, what this meeting entailed, and everything regarding Corbin Burnes once again as updates are furthering with Juan Soto as well. We're going to talk about all of that here in this video. Now, before we do, we know 75% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your New York Yankees news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. Join us here on the channel. We're covering everything New York Yankees, and Juan Soto's signing is imminent, so you won't want to miss any updates we have to bring with that, as the market will fall once he signs. But without any further ado, let's get into our first topic here, which is a pretty big Corbin Burnes update, and this is one that we've really been waiting for. We've seen Corbin Burnes being linked to the Yankees. We've seen Corbin Burnes being linked to the Blue Jays. We've seen pretty much being linked everywhere. But the fact that we're now having a meeting, we have this meeting done with Corbin Burnes, things are starting to heat up. Let's pull up our first screenshot here looking at this, and this comes from, I believe, an MLB.com or an MLB Network article. It says, the New York Yankees meeting with Corbin Burnes was held on Zoom. The MLB Network insider John Hamer reports in an article for the New York Post, and the New York Yankees also held a Zoom call with lefty free agent Max Fried, which you have seen in a video yesterday or today on this channel, whenever this video is going up. But the fact that we have now another meeting with Corbin Burnes, we've had another meeting with a pitcher, really tells us that the Yankees are going for a pitcher. We've been seeing that the Yankees want to continue to add and bolster this offense, the offense, but also the pitching staff. And even with retaining Gerrit Cole now with quite a few more options on the pitching side of things, they're still looking to add the best free agent pitcher available here in this offseason. And of course, the priority still is going to be Juan Soto, and the Yankees have reportedly been they've been able to get both of them, which is one that I don't really know how far that will progress, but if so, if the Yankees can both get Juan Soto and Corbin Burnes, things are going to be looking good in New York. But ultimately, we can't expect that. We have to kind of go piece by piece here and predict that Juan Soto will be the main piece and one that the Yankees are still going to need to fight for. And pulling up the next screenshot here as well, the market for both Burnes and Fried could heat up once Soto signs, which, as I mentioned, with the runners-up in the bidding for the superstar outfielder potentially looking to make a splash elsewhere. And the two aces have also been linked to the Red Sox, another team involved in the Soto sweepstakes. So, as I mentioned, this is not going to come down to a yes or no for the New York Yankees. This is going to be a really, really big tower that is going to be coming down piece by piece once Soto signs. We're going to see more pieces fall by then and whatnot. This is going to be a very, very big weekend and next week heading into the MLB, and the Yankees are going to have to get these meetings, get some more of these negotiations well underway, and get deep into these negotiations, knowing that we don't have any guarantee in this. And being also with the Red Sox, the Blue Jays have been linked to both of these guys as well. We've seen the Blue Jays being in an in-person meeting with Corbin Burnes, another factor that we don't really want to see as Yankees fans, something that we don't want to see, really, in the AL East, I guess. Not even just as Yankees fans. We don't want to see any relation to the AL East for all of these players. And really, for the matter of fact, we've seen Juan Soto linked to just about every AL East team available at this very moment. And I do want to pull this one up as well. Corbin Burnes stats. We're going to talk about Corbin Burnes and why he's a pretty interesting option for the New York Yankees at this very moment. And we know Corbin Burnes, how good he was last season, how good he's been over recent seasons with the Milwaukee Brewers, and he's only getting better. We've seen that pitchers can get better by age, and he is most certainly one of them. And last season, being an all-star, being fifth in the Cy Young voting, and kind of being hovering around that spot for quite a few seasons now, since he actually did win the Cy Young in 2021, he's only getting better. And we know that he's only getting older as well, which is another thing the Yankees are going to have to consider, and especially with what I have right here. I'd want to pull up this one. The depth chart that we kind of have in the pitching right now, the rotation. Gerrit Cole, Carlos Rodon, Marcus Stroman, Nestor Cortez, and Clark Schmidt are the ones that were listed right now on ESPN. Now, whether or not this will change before the beginning of the season, I would say it will. Right now, this is what we're rocking with. And Marcus Stroman is an option I think the Yankees kind of want to stray away from. He's not horrible, but he's also not great in that instance. We want to see another kind of lock-down ace potential kind of pitcher, and Max Fried, Gerrit Cole, both of those guys are those types of players the Yankees could be looking for, and as well as many other options as well. Max Fried being there, so many other lesser options being available, but those two being ace potential alongside Gerrit Cole, alongside Carlos Rodon, having kind of that 1-2-3 punch of those three, something the Yankees will certainly try to consider, even if Juan Soto is signed by the New York Yankees. And as I mentioned, that is the main priority. they're going to have to focus on that. I do suggest the Yankees do not kind of focus on the pitching at this very moment. But obviously, I'm not a Yankees manager or GM for that specific reason, but there are things that the Yankees have to focus on, and it is kind of those in a 1A, 1B type scenario. And further into this as well, I'm going to pull up the quote from Jon Heyman, going over really who is in the Corbin Burnes sweepstakes, who is in really contention for all of these players that I've just mentioned. And the Yankees, the Jays, the Red Sox, the Giants, and the Orioles are among the main players for Corbin Burnes. The Yankees could possibly also and potentially do both Soto and Burnes, but of course, they'd look to save money elsewhere if they did. And those are the real big things for this team, is the entire AL East. They're going to have to put up higher bids than those. The Giants also going to be a player, but they're not really in a main contender role against us specifically. But the AL East is the big issue. We don't want to be seeing Juan Soto. We don't want to be seeing Corbin Burnes. We don't want to be seeing those specific players come up against us every week or so. Those are going to be issues that we don't want to have to face. And as well, looking at what we're seeing right now, the Corbin Burnes may not be the best option, but he certainly is one the Yankees are still going to have to consider no matter what. And this is a little article here I have that is pretty interesting and kind of brings all of this to light. And says the 30-year-old Burnes expects to command a long-term contract of $200 million with an average annual value of $30 million after rejecting the one-year $21.05 million from the Orioles. And that was their qualifying offer. And curiosity surrounds free agency of Burnes, and given how the Scott Boras, his agent, embraces creativity while maximizing average annual value in contract negotiations. So a long-term deal at $200 million will really kind of lock up the Yankees for quite some time. And we've been seeing numbers of 6, 7, 8 years for Corbin Burnes. That would put him at either 36, 37, or 38 years old. And although Corbin Burnes is getting better with age, we still don't know how much age will impact him when it gets to a point where you're old, considered old for the MLB. And, probably not the nicest thing to say, but the fact that you're going to have, the $30 million per year, per season, for a guy that's going to be 37, maybe throwing up a 5-6 ERA. There's a huge risk for Corbin Burnes with the New York Yankees, but it is one the Yankees still need to consider, and if they can get him for a more shorter term, still long term, but shorter than the 7-8 years, maybe a 4 to 6, something like that could be a bit better. That would be something the Yankees would really have to kind of go after, and I think that's something they should try and put in those negotiations. But of course, Scott Boras has some very good negotiation tactics on his side of things with him and his clients. So I do expect to see a bit of a stinginess from the side of Corbin Burnes, but the Yankees still do have to take their caution with the wind for Corbin Burnes, and especially with what he's going to be commanding, how much he's going to be making, and what his production will be for the Yankees in years to come, as long as things stay good. And Juan Soto's a Yankee, realistically the Yankees got their offseason planned out well, and having both of those two as well would kind of limit the ability to go out, get those first basemen, get the third baseman, get a second baseman that they're looking for to be able to really solidify this lineup as a World Series contender. So that's what we have right now, and we're expecting more, a lot more from this, as well as probably more from Corbin Burnes, more from Juan Soto as the days and weeks come on. And as this weekend comes, Juan Soto is going to have a decision made. And we're going to be touching all of that here in this channel, so make sure to hit the sub button so you don't miss out on any Yankees news. But that's all I got in this video. Let me know what you think about this. Corbin Burnes, obviously a great option, but a lot of uncertainty surrounding him and his longer term of the contract. But, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.